Zafra Publishing presents Nemesis, written by Rory Clements and read by Adam Sims. For exclusive news about Rory's writing, visit roryclements.co.uk. Stay tuned after the audiobook for a letter from the author. June 1931. Chapter 1. This was the best day of his life, watching his beloved boy here in this ancient chamber of light. Above him, his gaze drifted to the high, soaring fan vaults and armorial badges that made the great chapel celebrated throughout the world. On every side, he sensed the enclosing history of the mellow limestone walls, held tall and perpendicular by massive buttresses. And within these frames, he was dazzled by the colored glass that filtered and split the heavenly rays and told the story of his faith. Candles flickered in glass sconces along the choir stalls. The choristers and choral scholars were ranged on both sides of the aisle in white surplices and red cassocks. In a few moments, their voices would well up and soar into the vast echoing space and dance off the tracery and the carvings. Colonel Ronald Marfield knew now that even in the dark nights of war, God had never deserted him. This was his promise made good. At his side sat his elder son, Ptolemy, slumped awkwardly in the pew, and his wife, Margaret, erect and dignified. But it was the 13-year-old boy at the front of the choir who held his eye and his heart. The head chorister, his beautiful younger son, Marcus. Marcus with the perfect voice, the pale golden skin, the blue eyes and the tousled sandy halo of hair. Every father's ideal son, truly a gift from heaven. King's College Chapel was packed, but the congregation made not a sound. And then the organ broke the hush, and the first haunting notes of Charles Stanford's Magnificat in G crept forth, sempre staccato. Marcus opened his lips, and his voice emerged. My soul doth magnify the Lord. Every boy, every man in this fine choir sang wonderfully, but only one stood out. Marcus's treble notes were not just flawless, it seemed as if they rose on angel wings. Those watching and listening barely breathed. Colonel Marfield's eyes were wet. How could he not weep at such perfection, at the divine sound of his own son? He reached for his wife's hand, but they were clasped in front of her. Through eyes blurred with tears, he looked at her, beseeching. She stared straight ahead, refusing to meet his gaze. Her eyes were dry. August 1939. Chapter 2. For a man of 50, the American was in reasonable shape. Good teeth, breath sweet in a whiskey way, a decent head of hair, though it was receding from his brow, and his round tortoiseshell spectacles lent him an intellectual air. Alina had made love to men half his age, who had less going for them. Take care of me, Alina, he said. Take care of me, and I'll take care of you. It will be my pleasure, sir. She was undoing the buttons of his shirt, slowly, from the collar down. With the last button popped, she drew open the shirt front and eased it off his shoulders, so that he stood before her, naked from the waist up. A sportsman, no doubt about it. Rode a lot, very little spread around the girth, and muscle tone in the arms. A few curls of hair snuck up above his trouser line. Below he was stirring. But she wasn't going to touch him there. Not yet. Now you, he said. Let's see what you've got. Alina Kosov, known in this place as Alina Ulyanova, was no more than 5'4", with fair wavy hair. She stood on her toes and placed her full lips on his, then stood back, smiling. Teasing, tantalizing, she removed her blouse slowly, and at last turned around so he could unhook her ivory-colored bra. As it fell to the floor, she turned back to face him, still smiling. She let him feast his eyes on her breasts, full with small pink nipples. Well, sir? God damn it. He reached out and took them in the palms of his hands. God damn it, and the Lord forgive my blasphemy. They made love on the single bed.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?